Well, I had on shorts until my grandson threw up all over me. Yes, I had to run home and change real quick.
Okay,
Oh, surprise.
I'm going to put that right there. So don't-
It's 7 o'clock, and I'm calling to order the regular City of Lucas Planning and Zoning Commission video conference meeting. Today is August the 13th at 2020, and it's 7 p.m. Would like to welcome everybody, and we'll start determining our quorum with a roll call. And if we can start from my right,
Peggy Reskerholz.
Tim Johnson.
I'm David Keir.
Dusty Kirkendall.
Tommy Tolson.
And we do have a quorum. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll introduce the people on the screen. We have Commissioner Joe Williams, and we have alternate Commissioner Adam Sussman, and I believe that's everybody. For the city, we have our city attorney, and I'm sorry, we haven't met yet. I don't know your name.
Courtney Morris.
Courtney Morris, and we have Joe Williams, our Services Development Services Director.
How about Joe Hilburn?
Joel Hilburn.
What did I call you?
I think you just promoted Joe Williams.
Hi, man. You promoted me.
We're off to a great start. Thank you, Joe Hilburn. And also from the city, we have our city secretary, Stacy Williams. I remind everybody to please silence your cell phones or turn them off, and join me in standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item 1 is a public hearing. The public hearing to consider amending the city's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14, zoning Article 14.04, Supplementary Regulations, Division 8, Accessory Building Structures and Uses, Section 14.04.302, Accessory Structures, Buildings, and Uses Permitted, and Section 14.04.304, General Accessory Buildings and Structures, regulations to require storage container in a residential district to be located a minimum of 10 feet beyond the main structure, to require storage containers in the commercial business and light industrial district to be behind the main structure, and to require detached accessory buildings to be a minimum of 10 feet behind the main structure unless they are architecturally compatible with the main structure. First, we'll have a presentation by Development Services Director, Mr. Hilburn.
All right. This item may look familiar. This is the exact item I brought forward in May. It's an item we discussed and you guys were in favor of it. This is simply some house cleaning items that came up due to some changes in state law that would no longer allow us to regulate the types of building materials on residential structures. It allowed, it then moved where we could have storage containers in the front yard and accessory buildings in the front yard that were made of metal buildings. And that's essentially what this is repairing. And also in light industrial, it also moves Connex boxes behind the main structure and obscured from view. And if anybody has any questions, I'm certainly willing to answer them.
Refresh my memory. On your background information, you have the question storage pods in front yards. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Maybe we answered it last time, but I don't remember. Are storage pods now considered an accessory building?
Well, they're a part of the accessory building regulations. Yes, they are an accessory building and they're permitted in agricultural districts and commercial and light industrial.
Okay,
They have to have greater than 5 acres. And the problem is before we didn't have to regulate where they were located because we didn't allow metal buildings in front of the structure. But we
Okay.
did allow accessory buildings in the front yard,
Right.
provided they were made out of the same material as the main building. State law changed and we can no longer regulate the type of building materials on structures. So then Conex boxes could then be in the front yard.
okay.
And we did have some.
Because I know from time to time residents do use storage buildings just for, I mean, storage pods for, 60, 90 days or something like that. And I just want
Mhm.
to make sure that we weren't cutting that use off.
We make them submit a letter to the city stating that if they're doing a renovation project, for example,
Okay,
that the pod would be gone within 30 days of completion of the project.
okay. Okay. And then the second question, when we're saying that it has to be obscured from public view,
Mhm.
are you thinking more of somebody going down the street or the next door neighbor or both?
I'm thinking more towards behind the main structure, not offset where it's right on the property line.
Okay. Okay. So generally they should be able to achieve that either by some landscaping or
A
fencing.
bush or behind the main
Bush.
building or a fence or
just so that it's just not sitting out there just all by itself and,
in the middle of a field, plain as
Gotcha.
day.
okay. Okay.
And that's why I tried to use the word obscure instead of hidden or not
Okay.
visible.
Are you saying, I'm sorry, can we clarify? Are we saying obscured in the front of the property? Is that what the specific part we're
No.
dealing with right now?
That wouldn't be permitted in the front of the property at all. It would have to be behind the main structure and obscured from view.
So I have a question.
I'm sorry, who asked that?
Adam.
Adam, I didn't want to interrupt Peggy, so I didn't know if she was finished
No,
or
I'm
not.
finished. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
So my question is, how does this affect when the accessory building's behind the structure, but since there's a side street, it's visible from the street? And I'm thinking of the current building that was constructed on Estelle behind the new construction home.
It wouldn't affect accessory buildings at all. This is very specific to Conex boxes, and it's only in that section that it requires them to be obscured from view.
So this is only dealing with the temporary storage, the storage, correct?
Well, it's not just temporary. Remember, you can have them permanently if you're in a residential district or agricultural district and have greater than 5 acres, or if you're in a commercial district or in light industrial.
Mhm. But this has nothing to do with the setbacks or or modification or the visibility of a accessory building that happens to be visible from a side street.
That's
It
correct.
has nothing to do with this, correct?
That's correct.
We need to be more descriptive on the usage of trailers as described in here, because the trailer could be a car hauler, which is a flat trailer, all the way to a box trailer to an 18-wheeler trailer.
Well, we could be. The question is, do you really want those type of trailers in the front yard?
Well, I mean, I don't think that's the question. I think the question is more if it's offset, somewhat obstructed, and it's a simple low car hauler, like a low boy trailer that's 2 foot off the ground. It's vastly different to me than an 18-wheeler trailer or a box trailer or a container sit on a trailer. I think no trailers is too broad for me.
This really wouldn't apply to a vehicle trailer or any such thing. It says, except as provided in here, and no trailer, container, commercial boxes, or other similar structures shall be used as an accessory structure or building. I don't think you're going to be using a flatbed trailer as a building.
could be for storage, I guess is kind of where I was looking at that. If someone had it to sit out there with something on it for a temporary basis, would they need a special requirement or permit in order to have something on there? Under your example of someone doing a remodeling project, if they should use it for that, how do you guide
I
that?
still wouldn't call it a building.
Okay.
There's no way I could justify calling a flatbed trailer a structure or a building. The problem with Connex boxes, they do make very nice accessory storage
Completely.
structures.
Right.
They're relatively inexpensive, and when they're brand new, they're not bad looking. But when they become 4 or 5 years old, they deteriorate and they no longer are appealing to look at. And you have those in the front yard. It's just not an attractive sight.
I would agree with that.
Have any other questions?
Yeah, I've
Jim?
got a few. So there are a number of properties in Lucas now that people are using Connex boxes or similar stuff that are behind the house. I think we addressed, satisfactorily, what do we consider to be behind the house? Because if you've got a deep property and the house is facing the back and that kind of thing. For those folks who already are using a Connex box for this purpose.
None of these would apply. They would be legal
They would-
non-conforming if they didn't comply with the regulations.
Okay, I want to write that. I tried to explain that to somebody the other day and I couldn't think of I got the non-conforming, I couldn't get the legal part.
Mhm.
Okay,
Grandfathered.
so we're grandfathering in people who are currently,
Well, no, you're not grandfathering. That's a different thing. Grandfathering has very strict limitations. For one, if you do any change on the property, you would lose your grandfathering rights. Legal non-conforming means you are legal. You just don't conform with today's regulations, and nothing you do is going to affect that.
okay. All right. I think I know the answer to the obscure, because when you talk about obscure, I'm thinking of a situation where you're driving down the street and somebody's got a Connex box in the way back, but you can't see it until you get right at their driveway, and then when you get past their driveway.
That would be obscured.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments for Mr. Hilborn? Okay, seeing none, I will open the public hearing at 11 minutes after 7. And as of now, I've gotten one email that I'd like to read into the record. This is from Maureen Miller. It's in opposition to this proposed regulation. I'm going to read it. It's, I oppose the language change around the requirement that shipping containers used on agricultural properties be hidden from public view, especially if they are placed at the rear of the property. If you truly want these hidden, then please also change the fence ordinance to allow for limited private fencing to accomplish this, or you have hamstrung your constituents. If that doesn't work for you, then can you delay this until next year? Have we not all had enough challenges in 2020 that people have to worry about some obscure HOA-like compliance? Please give us an option to comply or some grace. That's the end. Signed, Maureen Miller. Stacy, have we received any other emails pertaining to this subject? Okay, so seeing that there are no other people wanting to oppose or endorse this amendment, I will close the meeting at 7:13. All right. Council, any discussion about this before we call a vote? Ami?
I've just got an easy question. Are you the city attorney?
I am,
Can I ask you a question?
certainly.
You don't have to get up, but I think Ms. Henderson always wants people up there. the proposed ordinance changes as written, have you reviewed those?
I was just reviewing them, yes.
Okay. Have you completed a review of them?
Yes.
Okay. Do these proposed ordinances, are they consistent with state, county, and local laws?
Yes, in
from
fact,
s-
that's the purpose of this ordinance.
Well, yes, I understand what the purpose is.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure there aren't any inconsistencies with.
Not that
State
I'm
can-
aware of at this time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to review real quickly so I'm clear. So what we're doing is we're saying that going forward, we don't want metal boxes, construction trailers, Connex boxes in front of a house. But if it's behind the house as an accessory building, it should be obscured to a certain degree, or to a degree where it's not obtrusive to anybody else. Am I saying that right, Joe? Okay. And people who have that kind of a situation now will be legal non-conforming. So they will not be required to change or move or remove any of what they've got. I guess my question now is, if they move or change what they've got now, they'd be required to come in compliance. Is that correct?
That depends. If they move or change or to value by greater than 50%, the staff couldn't issue a permit for any change. If it's greater than 50%, they were required to go to the Board of Adjustments to keep them the way they are. If
Okay.
they want to change them by more than 50% of the value of the project.
Okay.
Less than 50%, they could change them, but that's the,
Okay. One last theoretical question.
Mhm.
Somebody who's legal non-complying, but they want to take a step of obscuring it more than what it is or isn't, say with a solid fence that is not 50% see-through. But that fence that they want to build would be outside the setback line where you can't have a solid fence. Would we conceivably be amenable to them building that fence anyway, even though it wouldn't necessarily comply with the fence ordinance?
I don't get a vote. That's up to the Board of Adjustments. That would be on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
I don't see why, I don't see any
hardship
hardship that would require, that would allow them to issue an adjustment for that. Because the building isn't allowed in the setbacks, there's no reason for the fence to be in the setbacks.
Well, I'm thinking of existing that may be there now. You never know.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, anybody online or in person here feeling the need to make another comment or ask a question?
No.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve or deny the amendment? Right, let me restate that. Make a motion to approve or deny amending the city's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14 zoning, Article 14.04, supplementary regulations, Division 8, accessory buildings, structures and uses, Section 14.04.302, accessory structures, buildings and uses permitted, and Section 14.04.304, general accessory buildings and structures regulations, to require storage containers in a residential district to be located a minimum of 10 feet behind the main structure, to require storage containers in the commercial business and light industrial district to be behind the main structure, and to require detached accessory buildings to be a minimum of 10 feet behind the main structure.
I'll make a motion as stated.
Okay, Joe Williams made a motion. Peggy, you
I'll second.
seconded? Okay, the motion is made and seconded. Please reply. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. All right. Regular agenda item number 2, consider approval of the minutes of the May 14th, 2020 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I saw no need for any corrections. Okay, Tommy, go ahead.
Bottom of page 4, last paragraph starts off with my name. The second sentence says materials to be used to meet standards were discussed, as well as removing temporary culverts within 18 months once completed with a construction project, comma, to be replaced with a permanent culvert. And I did not say that. And that was not the intent.
Stacy, can we strike that? Thank you. Give everybody another minute to refresh their memory. It's been a while.
I think we did discuss that materials, but it wasn't under Tommy's suggestion. I think the run on between what he discussed about the difference between temporary culverts and permanent culverts should be separated from that second signature, because we did talk about materials to be discussed, and we did talk about removing the temporary culverts within 18 months after the project was complete with a construction truck, and it had to be replaced with a permanent culvert. That was part of our discussion. I just don't think that Tommy brought that particular up. I think Mr. Hilborn might have presented it.
I don't think that we were going to require someone to put in a permanent culvert. They could if they wanted to, but they had to get rid of the temporary.
Right,
I mean, if they wanted to just put the ditch back, that would be fine.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Okay,
Word for word, I agree with everything you said.
Okay.
Exactly the way I remember. And that was the
Intent.
legislative intent, yes.
Yes.
okay,
And that's why I brought up the corrections is
okay.
because we were talking about replacing
Mhm.
and that was not part of the discussion.
Okay, so you okay with striking that?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay,
I'm looking over my monitor here to see the crowd that's online. That won't work.
Joe, Adam, anybody?
Adam,
good.
I'm sorry, what are you asking?
if you saw any
No.
corrections to the minutes.
No. No, I did not.
Okay.
It's hard because I have to look at my phone to look at the minutes while you guys are talking because we don't have a split screen like we do over there. So that's what I was just trying to check.
All right,
I'm good.
Chair will entertain a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 2020 P&Z Commission meeting as amended.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Tommy and approved seconded by Tim. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. There is no executive session, so we will move on to item number 4, adjournment. May I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Joe. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 7:23.
Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy.